Hey there, it's Maureen with Sober Fit Chick. How's everybody doing today? Hey, do you struggle with wine waste, beer belly, or martini middle? That's what I used to have, martini middle. So today we're going to talk about specifically alcohol in relation to fitness. So for those of you, hey Barb, for those of you who are interested in fitness, which I think is a good majority of people who are out there trying to take care of themselves. So if you're interested in nutrition, and if you're struggling, you're a person who works out, you eat right, and yet you've got beer belly, wine waist, or martini middle, and you're like, why can't I change this? If you're still drinking alcohol on a regular basis, and that is defined as, that can be 1 to 2 drinks per night during the week, or you could be a person like I was who would drink it all on the weekends. Because I was caught in a detox-retox cycle, I would say to myself, well, I won't drink all week, I'll be really healthy, and then I deserve to have alcohol on the weekends. So, it depends. It doesn't depend actually on how you drank alcohol. Drinking alcohol is drinking alcohol, whether you drink 7 to 14 glasses over a whole week, or you drink them all on the weekend in more of a binge style drinking. You are still affecting your metabolism long term. And as I said on my video earlier this morning, I was a former fitness instructor and personal trainer, and I didn't really get that. I thought the drinking was isolated incidences, not thinking about how it was truly affecting all the hard work that I would always be trying to do with weightlifting and cardio and eating right. And effectively, I was negating my hard work, and it would show up as more weight around my middle, because that's where we store extra fat. So let's get into, first of all, what is alcohol? Because that's important to understand for metabolism. So the active ingredient in alcohol that gets you drunk or has you feeling buzzed or relaxed is ethanol. And you've probably heard of ethanol before. It's the same stuff that goes into your gas tank. But the way it's made is we take yeast, which digests carbohydrates like grapes or fruit, makes wine, right? Or grains, which makes alcohol, like grain alcohol. Vodka is made from grains, right? So, hi Ryan. So it's important to understand that alcohol is ethanol. And no matter how we dress it up, no matter how it's distilled, no matter what we mix it with, even put it in a pretty martini glass and sugary mixers and make that Cosmo, that thing you think looks so pretty, your body immediately recognizes once you drink it that it's a toxin. So how this affects your metabolism is your body doesn't have a storage place for alcohol. So when you have fat, it's stored in your fat cells, right? Carbohydrates are stored as glycogen in your liver and in your muscles, and that's used for energy. But there is nowhere to store alcohol. And your body immediately recognizes this is a toxic substance. So what it does is shuts down all metabolism and breakdown of all these other macronutrients you're taking in, like protein, carbs, and fat. So they're not being processed because your body literally says, red alert, we got to get rid of this toxin. And puts all its efforts, your liver puts all its efforts into breaking down this toxin to get rid of it. And the crazy thing is, it takes ethanol and breaks it into something that I can never say right, acetaldehyde, which is so highly toxic to our bodies that it quickly converts it to acetate, which can then be removed, and some of it can be used for energy, but most of all it's so you can get it removed. But this could take hours, right? So in the meantime, your fat calories and your other macronutrient calories are being stored. And over time, if you're drinking on a consistent basis, which I was, your body starts to promote fat storage because it knows it's going to be receiving this toxic substance, and it's got to make it a priority to break it down. And the most common site of storage is around your midsection, right? So there's that term wine waist or beer belly or martini middle. And I had the martini middle. And you know why I had the martini middle? Because as a fitness person, I said, well, hey, I'm going to drink the lowest carb drink, straight up alcohol, a vodka martini. But I was fooling myself because your body doesn't see it that way. It sees it as ethanol, which is a toxin. right? It doesn't say, oh, this is a low carb toxin Maureen's drinking. No, toxin is a toxin and your body goes into this mode. So if you're wondering why, even though you're doing all these other things, and I was, lifting weights, eating right, not drinking during the week, drinking your green juices, doing all these things, but if you're drinking consistently, whether you take 1 or 2 glasses a night or drink it all on the weekends, it adds up to the same thing. Your body starts to become very efficient at storing other macronutrients, right? Your protein, your carbs, and your fat, and prioritizing breaking down alcohol. So it's got to do something with all those other macronutrients, so it stores it mostly around your middle. So next time you're frustrated, think about that you are literally changing your metabolism if you're drinking on a consistent basis. And I can tell you, as a person who's now decided I no longer want to drink alcohol, my middle area has changed. I still do all the things I was doing, but I'm much more consistent. And now I work out, and I'm working out with the idea that I want to get better. I want to get stronger. I want to get fitter. I'm not working out with the idea that I'm trying to burn off the alcohol I drank the night before, which brings me to my next point. Can you really burn off the alcohol? And the answer is no. And I see you, Ryan. And the long and short of that is you're actually just dehydrating yourself more. So we all know this, right? When you drink alcohol, you have to pee a lot. Why? Because it dehydrates you. And all your liquids just start running right through you. It's a diuretic. So the next day, if you're thinking, well, even though I feel like crap, I will go and sweat it out. What you're really doing is increasing your dehydration. So you can cramp more, you have less electrolytes in your body, you're really not feeling good in your workout, and you're really not getting the most out of your workout that you're putting this time and effort into. So just know that's actually a myth, one of the ones we're busting today. Can you sweat out alcohol? The actual numerical percentage is so tiny of alcohol that leaves your body through sweat that it's not even worth it. So it is a myth that you can sweat out the damage you did the night before. Really, what happens is you're actually hurting a lot of other systems, like your metabolism, and the other one I want to address is leaky gut. So alcohol, you've seen this, right? In movies, in medical shows. If they don't have anything else around, what do? They grab the alcohol to pour on the wound. Why? Because alcohol kills bacteria. But it's, indiscriminate. It kills good and bad bacteria. So when you drink alcohol, you are killing the good bacteria in your gut. We need a healthy microbiome. That's what it's called in your gut, to have all these variety of bacteria. They're actually for a reason that we have them, and they're learning so much about how your microbiome, they're calling it your second brain. It's so important. And yet when we're drinking alcohol on a consistent basis, and remember, hey there from West Africa, consistent basis, right, is just something that most of us are doing in the gray area drinking. That's 1 to 2 drinks a night, or drinking 7 to 14 drinks on the weekend. That's a pretty much standard way of drinking. And when we do that, we are tearing up our gut microbiome. So what happens is the lining of your gut actually starts to get mini perforations in it called leaky gut. And things start to leak out of your gut, and your body starts to see those things as invaders, and that's how we develop immune issues. And an interesting thing is that you might say, well, I'm drinking alcohol, at least I'm killing the good and the bad bacteria. But the sneaky little bad bacteria, they're actually pretty good at getting out once those perforations are in your gut, and they get out fast and into your system, which is a whole nother live call that I want to bring an expert in for on that one. I mean, we could get deep into the science, but basically what we've already covered today is that you're affecting your metabolism and becoming an efficient fat storer by being a consistent drinker of alcohol, because your body realizes it has to prioritize getting rid of the toxin. And the second point we talked about is gut health. And you might be a person who's taking probiotics and trying to eat kimchi and sauerkraut and introduce all this, but you're actually tearing up your gut lining and killing the good bacteria that you're negating all the hard work you're trying to do when you're trying to nurture your digestive system. I was a person who had terrible gut issues, and believe me, the last thing I wanted to consider that it was my drinking habits that were affecting it. Again, removing alcohol, my gut has healed, I have much better absorption, I'm taking in nutrients now that before I was so deficient in. And remember, I've been a fitness person and a professional and eating very healthfully, but I was negating all my hard work and digestive efforts. So the last thing I said I wanted to talk about is something called protein synthesis. And when you work out, when you lift weights, and this is going to be a really rudimentary description of this, right? But when we lift weights, we are actually causing micro tears. We're breaking down our muscle, excuse me, and then it gets stronger. It builds back up. Well, that is called protein synthesis, the gaining of lean muscle. But alcohol, drinking it, actually interrupts that process. So again, here you are, a person working out in the gym, lifting weights, working hard, and it won't matter how much protein you consume, but if you drink within 8 hours of exercise, your muscle protein growth is impaired. So again, think about this. You're a person who actually cares about your health and yet are being deceived thinking that moderate drinking is okay. But it is coming out in droves now of scientific evidence. There is no healthy amount of alcohol. And I lived that lie for years in the whole detox, retox loop. As a fitness person, I would, again, detox during the week only to retox my body on the weekends. And I used to think I was only hurting myself on the weekends, which is a pretty sad thought if you think about it. But the truth is the ramifications and the healing your body has to do from a weekend of drinking takes a number of days. So by the time I was actually feeling pretty good again, it might have been Wednesday. And then the weekend started on Thursday, and I was right back in that loop. So something to consider, right? So understanding connection between alcohol, metabolism, gut health, and muscle building or protein synthesis is so important, especially as you're one of these gray area drinkers, which I was and most of us are, right? We're active, we're working out, we have jobs, we take care of our families, but we're being fooled, lulled into this complacency that we think moderate or gray drinking is okay. But truly, it's actually doing a lot of harm in the long run and in the short run. So if you want to get rid of that wine waist or that beer belly or that martini middle, there's a real clear choice. And I know it's hard at first. So do your best to just really think about, be mindful when you're drinking, what you're putting into your body, and that it has a much longer lasting effect than that 20-minute buzz that we're looking for. And if you can think about that and realize that the buzz only lasts for 20, 30 minutes on some people, and then you have to do it again, right? So with each drink, your body goes into that mode, there's that toxin again. And even if you're out eating dinner, your body shuttles all those other calories off to the side to prioritize breaking down alcohol, and it stores those other calories. And over time, you become an efficient calorie storer because your body knows you're regularly giving yourself this toxin, and it's got to become very good at breaking it down. So on another live, I'd love to talk about a little deeper dive with actually my trainer who was on here earlier, Ryan, about truly how alcohol affects our fitness goals and performance. Because I think, and why do I talk about all this? Because I was fooled for years, right? Here I am, I was a fitness professional and always cared about my health, and yet I was doing this behavior that was really hurting me and holding me back the whole time. So now that I know all of this and have really experienced the benefits of removing alcohol from my life, and I know it's difficult, believe me, I went through the process. And if you'd like to go to even just talk about it, how to cut back, how to take a break, how to take a coach-led break from alcohol, then reach out to me on the DMs or set up a discovery call with me. We could talk about your goals, but just know that it's possible. And I have really seen my body change by removing this toxic ethanol from my daily routine. So if you have any questions, again, about how alcohol affects your metabolism, fat loss, muscle building, and your gut health, go ahead and DM me. I'd be happy to answer it. within Instagram. So thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. I love your questions, and actually, if you guys would send me topics, things you'd like to hear about. I don't only talk about fitness. I talk about all things that alcohol really affects. But for the next few weeks, I'm talking about all the health aspects of how alcohol truly affects our bodies. So thanks again for showing up, and have a great day. And I look forward to seeing you guys again on another live.